Hello, my name is Steve Mestis, and I'm the student ministry pastor here at Encounter Church, and I am here for your Encounter encouragement. Today we're going to go to Judges chapter 6, one of my favorite stories in the Bible, and luckily for you, we are not going to go over the whole thing. We're just going to hit at the beginning. All right, it says in verse 2, "The Midianites were so cruel that the Israelites made hiding places for themselves in the mountains, caves, and strongholds. Whenever the Israelites planted their crops, marauders from Midian, Amalek, and the people of the east would attack Israel, camping in the land and destroying crops as far away as Gaza. They left the Israelites with nothing to eat, taking all the sheep, goats, cattle, and donkeys. These enemy hordes, coming with their livestock and tents, were as thick as locusts. They arrived on droves of camels, too numerous to count, and they stayed until the land was stripped bare. So Israel reduced to starvation by the Midianites. Then the Israelites cried out for help." And during this time, I kind of just took notes. I love to write instead of just speaking. I'm going to kind of read some of my thoughts that were happening during this moment. But I want us to kind of imagine what was happening, because I feel like sometimes we read the scriptures and we just kind of read it word for word and kind of not realize this is real people and kind of what they're going through. And it said, this is kind of what I thought. Imagine for a moment the fear and defeat on the Israelites' faces, the worry that pounded their hearts, the anxiety that plagued their minds, seeing bloated bellies from starving children. Imagine what they saw as they hid in their caves and mountains, as they saw their once city brimming with laughter is now desolate, destroyed, and overtaken by a vast, overwhelming enemy. And I bet you they sat there and wondered, they heard these stories about a God that used to part Red Seas and had the Israelites break free from Egypt. And now they're sitting there going, where is God? And their cries echoed throughout the walls of heaven. God not only heard their pleas, but reacted. With grace, he provided a flesh and blood warrior. But the truth is, this warrior didn't even know he had a warrior spirit within him. You see, Gideon was no different than the rest of the Israelites that were living in fear and buried beneath worry and anxiety. When the angel visited Gideon, he was literally hiding grain in the winepress. He was living in fear, he was afraid for his life, and here an angel shows up and says, "Mighty hero," and some translation says, even "man of valor." And he says, "You're going to rescue the Israelites." You see, Gideon just sat there not knowing that he was a warrior, that he was a rescuer, and that he was going to be a liberator. Yet God knit Gideon together in his mother's womb, knew he deposited something greater inside of him. He was a warrior, he was a rescuer, and he was a liberator. And I just sit here and think about sometimes ourselves, when we look in the mirror, sometimes we don't see anything good. We just see flesh and bones, sin, the mistakes we made, and we kind of just go, man, I am nothing. And the same way Gideon kind of looked at himself. And I want to encourage you with this. God knit you together, and you have no idea what God deposited within you. You are a rescuer, you are a warrior, and you are a liberator. He has deposited the same Holy Spirit within everyone, and he has called you to do great things. So I just want to end this saying, do not forget, the Father loves you and he wants to use you. If this encouraged you in any way, please like us on Facebook or subscribe on YouTube, and I hope you have a wonderful day.